Hey, Steelers fans, I gotta be real with you. What just happened in that first round doesn't sit right at all. You watch the whole thing unfold thinking the team finally has the perfect guy falling into their lap, and then out of nowhere, it's gone. And now we're all sitting here trying to make sense of what the plan even is. You feel that too, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers just walked out of the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft with more questions than answers, and the frustration building across the fan base is completely justified after what unfolded in those critical moments on the clock. Before we continue the analysis, tell me in the comments, what are your current feelings about this draft, about the situation of our beloved team? I want to know your opinion. Don't forget to click the like button and come with me. I'll tell you everything. What makes this situation so difficult to digest is not just the selection itself, but everything that happened leading up to it. The Steelers used their first-round pick on offensive tackle Maxie Honechar out of Arizona State, a player with intriguing athletic upside, but one who clearly falls into the developmental category rather than someone ready to step in and immediately elevate a roster with playoff ambitions. That alone would have sparked debate, but it's the sequence of events involving wide receiver My Lemon that has turned this into a full-blown controversy. As the draft board unfolded, there was a growing sense that something special was about to fall into Pittsburgh's lap. My Lemon, one of the most polished wide receivers in this class, kept sliding. Pick after pick went by, and suddenly the Steelers were within striking distance without needing to trade up. Inside the building, the belief was clearly the same, because the organization made the bold move of getting on the phone with Lemon before their pick even arrived. That detail changes everything. This wasn't a case of reacting on the fly. This was a team that identified its target, believed he would be there, and acted as if the outcome was already secured. And then, in a matter of seconds, it all collapsed. The Philadelphia Eagles jumped in, traded up to pick 20, and took Lemon right out from under Pittsburgh's nose. That moment exposed a critical failure in draft management. If Lemon was truly the guy, and all signs indicate he was, then the Steelers had multiple opportunities to ensure they landed him. They held extra mid-round capital, including 3 third-round picks, and could have easily packaged assets to move up just a few spots. Even a minimal trade to leapfrog one team might have been enough. Instead, they stood still, assumed the board would fall their way, and paid the price. From there, the decision-making becomes even harder to justify. Missing out on Lemon should have triggered a pivot to another impact receiver. Omar Cooper Jr. was still available, a player widely viewed as a high-upside, immediate contributor with the ability to thrive in a modern passing attack. He would have fit seamlessly alongside Michael Pittman Jr. and DK Metcalf, giving the Steelers a dangerous and balanced receiving trio. But that pivot never came. Instead, the Steelers shifted to Honechar, and that's where the disconnect between roster needs and draft strategy becomes glaring. This is a team built to compete now, with a veteran quarterback situation and expectations of making a deep playoff push. The priority should have been adding players who can contribute immediately. Honechar, while talented, is not that player, at least not yet. Evaluators point to his elite athletic traits as the foundation for future success. At his size, his movement skills are rare, and there's legitimate belief that, with proper coaching, he could develop into a high-level tackle. But the concerns are just as real. His hand placement remains inconsistent, his anchor needs improvement, and his overall technique is still a work in progress. That raises the key question: what is the plan for year one? If Honechar starts immediately, there's a risk of growing pains that could directly impact the offense. If he sits, then the Steelers have used a premium pick on a player who won't help them in a season where every game matters. Neither scenario aligns cleanly with a win-now approach. And then there's the ripple effect across the offensive line. Troy Fautanu played well at right tackle last season, and there are already discussions about potentially moving him to the left side. Dylan Cook showed promise as well, creating further uncertainty about where everyone fits. Instead of solidifying the unit, this pick introduces more variables. It also brings into question the future of Broderick Jones, a former first-round pick who appeared to be finding his footing. Adding another tackle into the mix complicates his path to consistent playing time and suggests the organization may not be fully committed to his development. All of this circles back to the central issue: process. Drafting is not just about identifying talent, it's about maximizing value, understanding roster construction, and executing a clear plan. On this night, the Steelers seem to lose control of that process at the worst possible moment. There is still time to recover. Day 2 presents an opportunity to address the wide receiver position, with several promising prospects still on the board. Names like Denzel Boston, Jeremy Bernard, and others offer different skill sets that could help fill the gap left by missing out on Lemon. But now, instead of building on a strong foundation, the Steelers are playing catch-up. And that's the lasting impression from this first round. A team that had a clear target, failed to act decisively, and ended up making a pick that raises more questions than it answers. It doesn't mean Honecker won't develop into a quality player down the line, but it does mean the Steelers may have missed a critical opportunity to strengthen their roster for the present. So now it turns to you. After everything that happened, from the near miss with My Lemon to the decision to draft Maxie Honecker, how do you feel about the direction the Steelers took in this first round? The fallout from that first-round decision doesn't stop with just missing out on My Lemon or passing on Omar Cooper Jr., because what really lingers here is the pressure it now places on the Steelers heading into Day 2 of the draft, and how thin the margin for error has suddenly become. When you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, this was supposed to be the moment where Pittsburgh added a dynamic weapon to an offense that is clearly being built around spacing, timing, and versatility in the passing game. The expectation was simple: complement Michael Pittman Jr. and DK Metcalf with a reliable third option who could operate in the slot, win quickly off the line, and give the quarterback a consistent safety valve. That role is still wide open, and now it becomes urgent. Because here's the reality: this offense is going to rely heavily on 3 receiver sets. That's not speculation. That's the direction this system is trending. And as it stands right now, trusting that role to an unproven option like Roman Wilson alone is a gamble. It's not that Wilson doesn't have potential, but expecting him to immediately step into a high-volume, high-impact role on a playoff-caliber team is asking a lot. That's why the names still available on the board become so important. Denzel Boston is still sitting there, a player the Steelers reportedly value highly. He brings size, physicality, and the ability to dominate after the catch. If Pittsburgh is serious about correcting what happened in round 1, trading up early in the second round to secure Boston might be the most aggressive and necessary move they can make. Then there's Jeremy Bernard, another name that continues to gain traction internally. He may not carry the same headline appeal as some of the top receivers, but his game fits exactly what this offense needs. He's polished, reliable, and versatile. He can line up inside or outside, he understands route nuance, and he has the kind of awareness that quarterbacks love, especially in tight window situations. For a team trying to maximize efficiency in the passing game, Bernard might be one of the safest bets still available. And don't overlook Elijah Surratt either. He's a different kind of weapon, someone who thrives in contested catch situations and has a natural feel for back-shoulder throws. That detail matters more than people think, especially when you consider how often those types of plays show up in critical downs. Adding a receiver with that specific skill set could quietly elevate the entire passing attack. But all of these options come with one major condition: the Steelers have to be decisive this time. They cannot afford another passive approach where they sit back and hope the board falls their way. Round 1 already showed what happens when you hesitate. If there's a player they truly believe in, they have to go get him. Because if they don't, then this draft could quickly spiral into something much more damaging than just one questionable pick. It could become a missed opportunity to maximize a roster that, on paper, is ready to compete right now. And there's another layer to this that fans are starting to talk about more and more: the possibility of the Steelers going in a completely different direction with their next pick. The mention of a quarterback like Carson Beck entering the conversation has already raised eyebrows. Not because Beck lacks talent, but because of what that decision would signal. If Pittsburgh were to prioritize a quarterback in round 2 over addressing immediate needs at wide receiver, safety, or along the defensive line, it would suggest a shift in focus away from the current window of contention. And that's where frustration could turn into something much louder. Because this team isn't rebuilding. This team isn't waiting for 3 years down the line. The expectation inside the building and across the fan base is to win now, to make noise in the playoffs, and to take advantage of the talent already in place. That's why everything about Day 2 feels so critical. It's not just about adding talent. It's about restoring confidence in the direction of this front office after a night that left a lot of people questioning the process. At the end of the day, Maxi Honicher might still develop into a very good player. The tools are there, the upside is real, and with the right coaching, he could become a cornerstone piece on the offensive line. But that doesn't change the fact that the Steelers passed on immediate impact, mismanaged a key moment, and now have to respond under pressure. And that response is going to define how this entire draft is remembered. So now it comes down to what happens next. Will the Steelers be aggressive and go get a receiver like Denzel Boston or Jeremy Bernard? Or will they risk doubling down on a strategy that already has fans on edge? Make sure you subscribe, leave your like, and click on the video on your screen right now, because the latest Steelers updates and breaking news, you're only going to find it right here. Go Steelers!